Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I am pretty excited about this project. I'm going to start making my own homemade tumbler my own tumbler barrels out of PVC pipe that my dad has had laying around. Obviously you can tell by the cobwebs and stuff stuck to it that I haven't even bothered to clean these off yet. He literally had them laying around his house. What I've done is, this is just 4-inch PVC, nothing's fancy about it. I went and bought some end caps from the local big box hardware store and some test plugs. So if you're looking to do this, it took me a minute to figure out what all these parts were called, but test plugs and test caps are what you want for the ends of these. The test caps cost a whopping 67 cents and they feel like it. They're just flimsy little pieces of plastic, so I bought as many extra as I could, and I don't know how long they'll hold up, but we'll see. We'll find out. And then the test plugs, again, I don't know how long they should hold up, but they got a nice little rubber seal on them, and they ran about $9 a piece. So if you're looking to do this yourself, you get an idea of how much it costs. The pipe, I couldn't tell you. I think I priced it once as $30 for a 10-foot section. So if you're looking to do this to your project yourself, there's an idea of what it costs. And then on top of it, I get a nice little side bonus. A gentleman reached out to me by the name of Tom Burleigh, and he said if I could, he saw my homemade tumbler that my dad and I had built, and he said, if you can put a bottle inside a barrel, he said it would finish out his dream projects. Well, Tom I went and checked out his channel, and it's a fantastic channel. If you love mudlarking or exploring the wilderness in any way, shape, or form, his channel is definitely worth watching. He's very chill. It's very fun. I loved watching his videos. But so Tom, this is for you. This is my pipe. I'm gonna get into the dimensions of what I'm gonna be making here, but I plan on making one that's big and bottle fits inside. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. He gave me an idea for the bottle, and well, let's see if we can tumble an entire bottle and what it comes out looking like. So that's not the portion of this video. I'm gonna do another glass video, but so again, subscribe if you want to watch glass videos and how they turn out. But for today, what I'm gonna do is, my dad gave me two sections of pipe. This one and this one I plan on leaving alone. When we made the homemade tumbler, the barrels left about 4 or 5 inches, just enough that we couldn't fit one more barrel on the rollers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to leave them two at 13, 14 inches, and that will actually use up all that unused roller space on that tumbler. And then I plan on making a couple of 9.5s out of this longer piece. It'll fit on any of the dual drum 3-pound tumblers and all in one piece. And I'm hoping that when I make a 9.5-inch piece, since I buy my, set that down before I drop it. I'm hoping that when I make a 9.5-inch piece, since I buy my rocks, tend to buy my rough stone at 9 in a 5-pound bag, they'll fit inside the 9.5. But we'll get one cut to 9.5. Then I'll try shoving this bag, if I can smush the rocks around to get it in there. And then we'll see if I can put a full 5 pounds in there, because the homemade tumbler doesn't care how much weight is in the barrel. All that's really going to matter is the rocks can move around in there. Oh, one other thing. Another YouTuber I watched, I tried to look up how to make these and what, I'll see how other people had done this, and I ran across MrChubbyHubby, and I love that guy's channel. He's so cool. He's very chill. He's got a lot of different projects he does, but he actually pretty much scientifically went over how to make one of these. And with his video, what he did is he broke down, he made 3 different barrels, one with no agitators inside, so it's just a plain barrel. He put one with 2 agitators inside, and then he made another one that had 4 agitators inside. And then he recorded the weight loss. Now, he used mixed stones, so the weight loss wasn't 100% accurate, but he found that the barrels with 0 agitators and 2 agitators lost about the same amount of weight, and the one with 4 agitators lost the least amount of weight. So for this project, I'm not going to add any agitators. I can add those later as I need to. So I'm just gonna go for now without, and then see how it turns out, and see if I can get a good polish on these. So polish on these stones. So this pipe is actually, I think I might take 1 inch off of it. Again, I'm trying to keep it the length of a bottle, and there you go. So there, you know, that's still going to leave plenty of room for the bottle to move. So I'm going to try to keep this pipe at this length. But when I first thought about it, I hadn't really thought about the test cap's nut sticking out. So it's not actually a 14-inch bottle. It's going to be whatever, 15-inch barrel there. So I'm going to have to play around with the length of that to make sure it works on that tumbler that my dad and I made. But yeah, let's get into the making. It shouldn't take very long to make these, other than me, you know, having to clean these off, dry, you know, wash them down a little bit to get enough of a, yeah, there's some spider webs in there and all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, I got to get that gunk out of there, and let's saw this up and see what we can get. Okay, like I said, I just want 2 9.5-inch barrels. I may again have to replace the wing nut on that so they'll fit without hitting the edge of the electric, the Chicago Electric, and the oh, I can't even remember the brand. All of a sudden, Lortone. So without hitting the edges of the Lortone. So yeah, I'm gonna make these 9.5, and then whatever the shorter part is, I'm gonna cut the one, I'm gonna cut it to fit, this one to fit before I cut into this full 14-incher, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, easy peasy, 9.5 inches. Got spider webs in there. Gotta get those out of there. Well, actually I don't. I just need to clean the edges so I can get the pipe glued on, and yeah, that's step number 2. Okay, quick initial fit test. I put the test plug on there because it does stick out a little bit. The test cap will stick out a little bit, and I get quite a little bit of play in there. And the PVC, I had to shorten it a little bit, I think. Nope, it's exactly 9.5 inches yet. So I will probably take just another 1/4 inch off just to make sure the test cap doesn't rub and all that. And obviously the wing nut is going to impact or hit here if I leave it as a wing nut. So I'll just replace that with a regular nut, and then that is not what's hitting, so yep, I can go over the top. So yep, I just got to replace the wing nut with a regular nut and probably cut some of that off. I don't need that much bolt on there. That's just more to thread a nut on and waste my time on my life. So taking the time to cut it off will save me a little bit of time over the number of years I plan on using this. So yeah, so far so good. I'd say if you're doing this on your own and you're looking to fit a standard dual drum, make the cut 9 1/4. Okay, quick initial inspection. I just threw the test plug on the end, and obviously it's a little too long for this tumbler. There's a couple of things I could do to shorten this. I mean, the test plug bolt is stupid long. I don't need it that long, and also the you know, I can replace the wing nut with a regular nut, so I could save in probably about 1 inch there, 3/4 of an inch. And then, I mean, the biggest thing here is that I just have enough room for a bottle. And obviously that's plenty of room for a bottle. I still got 2 inches at the end. So I could take a full inch off of there. I got no problem with that. I'll probably take 1.5 inches off, make it a total of 12.5 inches, and see how it goes. Okay, now the fun part, gluing the test caps on. Something I should probably mention as I work here is that part of the reason why I'm making barrels when I should be working on my shed is that I need this stones like now. I have a gentleman at my chalet that's buying stones by the bin. I mean, he just walks in and how much for this bin, and it's just the way he likes to get them. He likes to take them home and look through them and look at them, and he's come back a couple times, so it's not like he's not like I've sold him anything bad or anything. That's how he likes to buy a stone. So yeah, so I'm working on these barrels, and I have a huge backlog of stage 1 materials that I need to do. That are just, I mean, we just came back from a family trip, and I spent most of that trip rock hounding, and I have all kinds of stones that just need to be tumbled, and plus that's not even including the stuff that I got to run through the saw yet. So, that's why I put the plastic down. Now, you can yell at me if I'm not doing that right, but as far as I know, that's how I've ever fit pipes together. Not that I'm a pipe fitter by any means, or a plumber, but that's how I've done it. But yeah, I need these stones right away, and it's a little more high priority than... And plus, this is only a couple... It's not even taking me a half hour yet to do this, so... it's not really taken away from what I would be doing for that shed, so... Yeah, so that's why I'm working on that now, instead of cleaning up my garage. And then something else that should be noted is that I got 2 different barrel lengths on these long barrels. I quickly realized that the test plug was would stick into the chamber about 1 inch. So on these 9.5 inches, I don't know if I'm really saving too much volume. The volume that I was hoping, because the test plug is so long. You know, I was hoping to save, like, I don't know, at least the ends of the barrels, but it looks like any space that I thought I would be saving is going to be chewed up by the test plug. So I don't know, we'll see how much volume we can get in there and how much stone I can put in there, but I'm hoping that I can fit this 5-pound bag inside one of these 9.5 barrels, and we'll find out here in a half second, as soon as I can get this on and let it dry for a half second, and yeah, go from there. See if we can get that on there. So yeah, I don't know if I finished my thought, but yeah, I had to make 2 different length pipes for that bottle because of the test plug length, or the depth into the pipe. So this one is actually going to fit that bottle and allow it to move back and forth about a ½ inch, whereas the other one is just whatever I had left over off that long piece that I cut to 9.5. Well, I ended up making them 9.25, but yeah, what I cut the dual barrels pieces out of. So all right, time to let it dry a little bit, and then we'll get the test plugs on and get them on the tumbler. Alright, something else I should probably note as I'm putting these lids on is that the inside of these test plugs is, you know, not flat. They're definitely got some pockets in there that are going to be almost impossible to clean and get the grit out of, so these are definitely going to be dedicated first stage. I don't see any other use for these. Yeah, once it's in at a certain grit, it's going to stay. And also something else with these little test caps I'm kind of disappointed with. I'm finding there's an issue with leaking. So this one is really bad. I had one that was leaking a little bit, and then yeah, I've got one that isn't leaking at all. So I'm trying to silicone the other one. I'll try to silicone this after I get the test plug on and see if that holds and see if it works, or if I'm just gonna have to find something a little more feisty for the other end. So yeah, we'll try it and see how it goes. Okay, time for the moment of truth. Time to see if a 5-pound bag will fit inside there. I tried to put the bag in there without taking the rocks out, but it didn't work so well. So this time we'll try it with the bag in the barrel. Try not to drop it too quick on the test plug. I don't really trust it. Or excuse me, yeah, the test cap. Sorry, not test plug. Nope, darn it, not quite. Well, I got the other one, a little longer. Let's try that. Yeah, so far it's about 2/3, 3/4 full. I'll try it. Okay, so it is very full with a 5-pound bag, and that's the 13-inch barrel. So yeah, that gives you an idea of how much volume's in one of these things if you make your own. I put probably 4.5 pounds in a 9.5-inch tumbler. I mean, that's right to the brim, so call it 4 pounds. It'll hold up to 4 pounds, which is still better than the 3-pound barrels by themselves, because I'm only able to put about 1.5 pounds of rocks in one of those barrels before they're too full. So still doing all right. So still more volume than I had before, and yeah, time to fill this up, get it on the tumbler, and all right, it's been a full week, and it's time to open these barrels up. I had this one, I didn't know. Like I said, I had some leak issues earlier in the week, and I didn't know what to expect, and they sound okay as far as sloshiness inside. So that's good, I guess. Except for the glass one. I'm not hearing much movement in there, and it's got me a little nervous. Like maybe it did dry out, maybe it solidified. I got a lot of weight down on the other end, on this end, but not much over here. So we'll see how that turned out. And yeah, let's get these barrels opened up and see what's inside. Okay, here's the first one. I think I labeled it P1. I can't find my notes from last week, so I don't know what's in it. I don't know where they went. It's kind of irritating me. So we'll see what's in it. I think I put random rocks in there, but you know, who really knows? I got so many projects going on that, ooh, it's got a bit of a suction going on. I'll give you that. Ugh. All right, and I've loosened that as much as it's gonna go, and it still hasn't released. Ugh. Okay, so if you're looking to make your own barrels, that's a consideration, I guess. Oh, there we go. Just had some rocks in there, jamming up the surface or jamming it in there. Tighten it back down. I'll rinse it off in a minute. I'm outdoors, so there's a reason I'm outdoors. I've already dumped out some of the water, but you can see how much water is left in there. Jeepers. Good thing I'm outdoors. Making a heck of a mess. There we are. A bit of an odor in there, but it's the first time using the barrel, and yeah, it's looking good. Smooth. I'm not feeling any grit in there. You know, I'm not seeing any crazy grit in there like I've been doing in some recent loads. So I'll wash my hands real quick, get this washed up. Now, like I'd noted earlier about the grit, I had been thinking about the grit, but I hadn't been thinking about that. Like stones will wedge in there in the tops of these, so let's see if I can get that out of there. So clearly they did not polish. There it goes. Had a couple in there. Alright. And I can feel that this has been taking a little bit of abuse and is a little rough now, so if it's anything like a plastic pellet, there might be grit wedged in there, and it might be, this is now dedicated stage 1 barrel lid. So yeah, take that into consideration when building your own. Now, to see how it did. The hose has been out in the sun, so it's nice hot water. Feels good. Got quite a bit yet to take off that to smooth it down, but so far they're looking pretty good. They're looking like well, this is basalt and epidote, it looks like, so this is going to be undercut anyway, but the epidote is nice and raised a little bit. The basalt's lower, But here's a Marquette seam agate, which is going to be nice and hard stone, quartzy. That would be the softer part of the host rock, and you can see a little bit of the quartz chalcedony line. What else? So as far as stage 1 barrel being smooth on the inside and more of the same rock, I'd say they're pretty good. I mean, these are coming along just fine. Alright, something I just noticed while cleaning out the barrel. You can see where the the mechanical plug was, or the test plug. And then the interior is still gray. So I would assume that's roughed up, and I couldn't trust that there isn't grit embedded in there and other contaminants. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a stage 1 dedicated barrel. I cannot see for, you know, I can't say I would throw a stage 2 in there and hope that I get a stage 1 result, or I hope I get a stage 2 result. I would expect to get a stage 1.5 result. So yeah, if you're thinking of making your own barrel, maybe you'd want to consider one for each step. But like I said, these test caps, these are 67 cents each. You got to buy a 10-foot section of pipe anyway if you're just going out to the hardware store and grabbing it. So yeah, maybe it's worth buying a bunch of, you know, cutting them down in 9.5 sections and then just dedicating stages 1, 2, and if you're still, you know, if you're tumbling stages 3 and 4, then stage 3 and 4 barrels. So yeah, kind of neat. So at this point, I've been using these new barrels for about 2 weeks now, and I am about done with it. I did go ahead and spend a little more money on this project so you guys could get another take on these barrels. So if you haven't already, would you hit that like button for me? Just let me know you appreciate me spending money, and hitting the like button also helps this video reach other people. So if others have the same question, you know, how to build this, because it was hard for me to find any videos on how to build my own PVC barrels, and there was very little information about it. So hopefully this video is able to help people and can reach out to them, but your liking it'll help. So what I did to spend money is I went out and I bought an end cap, an actual end cap for the barrel, which fits over the back end of it, like so, of course. I went and got a coupler that would fit on the front. I'm planning on cutting the coupler in half, because right now it has that little groove in there, and I'm just trying to get rid of that groove. So cutting it in half will get rid of that groove, and it'll let me use this on 2 pipes, thusly splitting the cost of it. And then there's a mechanical test plug. I got a mechanical test plug, this is called, because it's flush, and it'll fit right in there. The downside is it requires a hex nut or an Allen wrench to use, but it came with the Allen wrench. So the downside of this little system, probably the biggest, is it's more expensive. This cap, the end cap was $11, the coupling was $13, and then this little gem of a plug was $25 bucks. So it's not a very economical way to do a barrel. I mean, that's almost, what, $48 or something like that, or yeah, $48 for just the ends, not including the pipe itself if you have to buy the pipe. So it's not all that much more economical. And not only that, but because of the end cap, the pipe is no longer 4.5. The outer dimension of a 4-inch PVC pipe, the Schedule 40 or whatever this is 4.5. So it's the same as a 3-pound barrel, 3-pound rubber barrel that everybody's used to. By adding this, it becomes a 5-inch diameter, and it actually slows it down 5 RPM on most tumbling units. So definitely the cheaper way is to put that test cap on there. They're called test caps. They're all a whopping 67, 76 cents. A little test plug. Or you can go 25 and then the 76 and put that in there. And yeah, I should have, now that I, you know, have had a chance to work with it, I should have glued the end of the pipe too when I put the test cap on, and that probably would have sealed it without me having to put an additional layer of silicone caulk on there. And yeah, so the biggest thing, I mean, you can definitely get a barrel, make a barrel cheaper than buying 2 3-pound barrels. But one of the biggest benefits I've found to this is I just ran a batch of random stones like I usually do with you know, either poorly tumbled stones from the internet or my rock hounding from a beach or whatever. And I was able to put about a ½ pound to a pound extra of rocks in this 9.5-inch barrel, even with the, you know, the longer test plug in there. I was still able to put more rocks in there, and also I only used 5 scoops of grit. If I had been using 2 3-pound barrels and following the recommended use of grit, I would have ended up using at least 6. But I used 5, and I had an extra ½ to 1 pound of stones in there. I think in this particular batch I had an extra ½ pound. And the stones are exactly what you would expect them to look coming out of stage 1 in a 3-pound barrel. I mean, there's some rough spots, that's a little rough guy, but there's no major difference between that and that. So I'm using less grit, and also, if you like to conserve water, I found that in order to rinse this amount of rock off that fills this, you know, ½ gallon, if half fills a ½ gallon of rock bucket, I used about the same amount of water to rinse them off, oddly enough. It didn't take any more, so I saved on grit, I saved on water, and I was able to put more rocks in at the same time. So a nice little fringe benefit if you're thinking about doing your own PVC barrels. That is a nice little benefit, and not only that, but you're able to, you know, the longer your barrel gets, if you're doing your own DIY tumbler at home, or your own, DIY rock tumbler, then you can make it as any length you want. You can make these any length you want, and I made one of these, I think it was just under 14 inches. I was able to fit a wine bottle in there, and I just used it for rocks for the first time, and I think I put 7 pounds of rocks in there. So it was significant, the amount of rocks I put in there. I had a little, one of those little glue buckets about like yay, and I put half of that bucket in there. It was impressive. That was a lot of rock tumbling at once, so it'll catch me up pretty quick. Not only that, but I was able to tumble a barrel or an entire wine bottle in one shot. I think that's it for this video. I can't think of anything else that I wanted to include in it, but this is a fun project. It's relatively cheap. You can do it as cheap as you want or as expensive as you want. I've already shown what a $50 system and a $12, 15. You know, can make one of these for under 15, or you could make it for 50 or more. Yeah, if I had a choice between 2 of these or 1 of these, I'm definitely going with this. The major downside of this, of course, is, like I said, you get the grit stuck in there. That's a gray, I don't know, it's a little rough in there. I can't guarantee that that stage 1 grit isn't stuck in that, embedded in the walls of this. So that's, like I said, that's going to be the biggest downside, but that's, you know, then you just make a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4 barrel if you're running all the way through your grits on your tumbler. So I'm very happy with it. I am definitely going to keep using these. They're a lot of fun. I didn't need to make any additional agitators. They're tumbling just fine, just straight up like this. I don't know, I haven't gotten any stage 3 or 4, but like I said, those for stage 1 dedicated, I'm definitely going to be using these from now on. And yeah, it's going to catch up on a lot of rocks. When I do my lapidary shed video, you're going to see what I mean. I have a lot of rocks to catch up on. And yeah, those are going to help. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, ask in the comments down below. I mean, I can't tell you what I don't know, but I'm happy to help you get to where I am, which is all any good teacher can ever do. So yeah, ask away, and I hope you like this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.